Hello everybody, how are you this Friday afternoon UK time? My name is Carl. It's nice that you can join us to hear and to discuss the topic of teaching writing in English as a foreign language. I'm here on behalf of TEFL.org. We help people to become teachers. We also help people that are already teachers, as things like this webinar shows, but we also help people who are thinking about maybe becoming a teacher. And if that's you, welcome. And if you're on the first steps of thinking about this, welcome to this webinar. I'm here to answer any questions. Who am I? I'm Carl. I'm an EFL teacher and have been for a good few years. I've been lucky enough to work in many places around the world. I've worked in Japan, China. I've worked in Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Sri Lanka, taught quite a bit in Iraq as well, I should say that. I've also taught and examined in Spain and Italy as well. And now I work from here in Northern Ireland, where I work as a teacher trainer for the TEFL.org on any of their weekend courses. And I also do online teaching and various other things still in TEFL. I enjoy teaching English as a foreign language. So please say hello. I can see some lovely hellos in there. Hello Digamba in India. Hi Taboko in Zambia. Hi Alan in cool San Diego. Wow, lovely. Hi Maria in Russia. Melanie in London. Vanessa London. Laura in the UK. Hi Laura. Barbara, hello. John, hello. So thank you everybody for joining us. This is going to be a live question and answer session. So if you do have any questions about teaching English as a foreign language, put them in the chat. Anything at all. And if I can answer it, I will. If not, I will get Alan to answer it because he's monitoring the chat and he's very good at that. While I ramble on, well, hopefully better than ramble, but while I talk about teaching writing. Okay. Thank you for all the highs. Please keep them coming in. I'm just outside Belfast in Northern Ireland, if anyone is asking. Okay, so let's start by talking about teaching writing in general. Okay, and one of the things I want to cover is why do students want writing homework? So you'll be as a probably a native speaker, if that's you. The first thing that you'll sort of see is that companies take you on because they want you to improve the speaking. I said native speaker because that's generally what is seen. If you see sort of native speaker adverts, they are wrongly, in my opinion, advertised to try and get people to teach speaking. But a lot of students really want writing, and the main reason why they want writing is for exams. Basically, they want to be able to pass exams, probably like an international exam, so something like an IELTS exam, where they want to get this certificate to prove for jobs that they've got a good level of English, or for immigration, something like that, or to get into university, something like that. Is one of the reasons why they want writing classes, because there's a writing element to that exam. There's also domestic exams, so exams within China, for example. And by domestic, I mean sort of the internal exams in a university or a school, something like that. So it might not help them to migrate somewhere, or maybe necessarily to get a job in another country, something like that. But that is important for them, okay? The other thing is business classes. So a lot of business English and business communication in general is through writing, such as emails, or even things such as blog posts, or marketing wise in terms of sort of replying to Facebook messages, Facebook chat things, all that kind of thing. Twitter's, you know, I've been asked to teach Twitter writing as well. So this is the sort of writing that people want. They want business classes, and exams are the main one. The other thing is academic English. And if you see jobs advertised where you're going to work at a university, you will probably either be teaching speaking, or you'll be teaching speaking and writing. That tends to be the ways for English classes. So that way you'd be teaching things like how to write like a journal article, how to write an opinion essay, how to write reports, that kind of thing. That also comes into it. So different types of writing there, and but they're the reasons why. They're the three sort of main reasons why students want writing classes. Okay. So what do you need to teach? So if you've been told that you need to teach writing, now hopefully a lot of the materials are provided for you, but you might also want to set yourself up as an independent writing teacher online, or you might have independent one-on-one classes, that kind of thing, or you might even be dropped in a school when they said, oh, we haven't got a writing course, can you write it? So what sort of things do you need to teach? Now, it's very dependent on the needs analysis. So you need to work out what is the reason why the students want writing. Is it to pass an exam? Is it to sell some products? Is it to write better emails? Because what you need to teach does depend on what they need and what they want. Okay, so it's very important that you do a good needs analysis. You then probably have to teach things like formality. That's one of the big things that's taught in writing. How formal do you need to be in the writing? So if you're writing an academic essay, you'd be a lot more formal than if you were to probably write a Facebook post, or if you were to do something like reply to a letter, email, that kind of thing. So it really does make a difference, the formality. Then of course you probably need to teach the grammar that goes with that particular type of letter or report or whatever it is that you're going to teach. You probably have to teach things like spelling. So you've got to make sure you can do the students can create in good spelling, and part of that could be just showing students how to use the spell checker in English on Microsoft Word, that kind of thing. Then you might need to teach coherence and cohesion. What is coherence and cohesion? It's basically how well the article or the writing that the students are making is organized. So does it have a logical flow to it? Does it have little cohesive devices in it that help the text be linked? So things like firstly, secondly, for example. Also the use of pronouns. These are all cohesive devices. Okay. Big part of that is paragraphing. Teaching students how to write an effective paragraph is a key part of exam English. It's also a key part of academic English, being able to teach students to write a paragraph. I personally hate to see, I got an email this week from someone trying to get me to go work in Kazakhstan, and they sent me about a 400-word email that was all in one block of paragraph. Drove me absolutely crazy. Okay, so paragraphing is a big part of that. Okay, right. So what you need to get, what you need to think about is genre, purpose, and the target grade of what the students want. Now, target grade comes into exams because some exams are not pass-fail. Some exams they give the students a grade after they've read their writing. So depending on what grade they want is depending on what you would teach. Now, by genre, what a big thing is, the students have to create something that fits the target genre. So what I'm talking about there is what does the receiver, the person reading, now it could be an examiner, it could be a reader of a letter, could be like in business English, it could be a buyer, for example. What does the receiver expect from that text? What does the student that you are teaching need to create in order to get the receiver and the reader to do what they want? Buy a product, give them a high grade in an exam, reply to an email, whatever it might be. Okay, the students have to fit the genre. They need their writing to match these expectations. So if it's an examiner and that examiner is expecting lovely paragraphs in order to give someone a high mark, you have to teach paragraphs. If it is a buyer of a product wanting to, and the writer, the student, is trying to sell that product, what does the buyer want? The buyer wants to have information such as price, how to buy, quantities, all that kind of thing, the genre. If it is an email to a friend, the receiver, the friend, would want quite relaxed formality. They wouldn't want quite formal English. These are the kind of things that you teach that would have to fit the genre and have to fulfill the purpose of the letter, the essay, the article, the Facebook post, the Twitter post, whatever it might be. Okay, has to fulfill the purpose that the receiver wants to see. I hope that makes sense. If you do have any questions, please let us know. Then the target grade is important for exam writing. So if you're going to be teaching an exam class, the target grade comes into it. So you need to know, if they're trying to get a B1, for example, certificate, you as the teacher need to know what the genre is for a B1 grade. So what types of things, what types of aspects of writing does the writer, the test taker, the student need to have in their essay in order to get B1? Genre, purpose and grade. Okay, target grade. So how do you analyze the genre? Okay, so the first thing to do is reading. So even though you're doing a writing class, very often a writing class starts by the students reading something. Okay, what you would do as the teacher is you would show the student good and bad examples of the genre. So if after the needs analysis, you've decided that they need to write a letter or an email to let's say to somebody, let's go with the business English one actually. Let's say so they want to write an email to a buyer of a product. Okay, you would show them an email that is a good example of the genre of selling a product. You will also show them an example of a bad one. Okay, so you got a good and a bad one, and you would get them to read it, and you'd get them to say, right, why do you think this one is better than this one? What do they have? What does this one have that this one doesn't? Or example, okay? And the key thing is to say why. You need to explain why. The student needs to explain why. Okay. Then you say to students, can you use anything from the text? Is there anything from the good text that you could use in your writing to recreate a good example of the genre? Okay, so for example, the organization. So they look at a really good, well-organized email. It's got a lovely introductory phrases. It's got another paragraph where it says, I'm writing you today to try and show you this. You can do this, and in the next paragraph, and in the final paragraph, some sort of final thought, some kind of selling off. Okay, good organization. You take that and you say, right, you need to recreate this in your genre. Are there any phrases that you can take from the good examples? Are there any sort of special vocabulary, anything like that that you could take to get onto the to use in your one as a good example? Vocabulary is a big one. So phrases like a 4 or 5 word chunk. Are there any specific vocabulary that match the business English purpose that you're trying to do? So analyze it. A lot of good writing classes very often start with a reading class. Then they need to recreate the good version of the ones that they've looked. So this does depend on the genre and the target grade. So what sort of organization do they need? They recreate the good organization they've seen. And you can do this through tasks such as rearrange a sentence. So you give them the words and they have to put them in order. Bit grammatical, but also can help them to maybe work with cohesive devices, for example. You might cut up a paragraph and they have to rearrange the paragraph. You might cut up a whole text into paragraphs and then they rearrange it together. Organization type example. That's the sort of task that you could do. Vocabulary, you might get them to highlight repeated words in a text. So if they keep for example repeating it, you would then say, okay, what phrases could you have used there? Or you might give them an example of a text which has lots of it, and you say, okay, what good vocabulary could you bring in order to lift your grade up from your writing in order to fit the genre that you're doing. Okay. Formality, if you need to improve the formality by making it more formal or less formal, you could give them phrases that are formal, rank them, which ones sound more formal, which ones sound more informal, and then they put them into a text, into gaps in an email, for example. You put them in, the students put them in, and that's how you can work a bit on formality. Okay. Definitely going to get around to your questions in a minute, guys. Please do keep them in. I can see them coming in. Thank you very much. I will definitely get to them soon. Okay. Then after the next step is draft and feedback. Okay, so they've created it, and this is called the first draft. So if it's an essay, the first draft of an essay, even if it's a small 50-word story or like a 30-word version of, if it was low levels, a 30-word version of their life, my hobby is, I work as, my job is, something like that. Even if it's short ones, they create a first draft. Okay, you then mark it using something called a correction code. Now this might be the second lesson, I should say. It might not be the first lesson. Obviously the first lesson would be sort of teaching the organization whatever it is you want to teach. Then once they create the draft in homework, or they create the draft in the next lesson, something like that. But you then have to mark this first draft. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of what the correction code is in writing. So imagine if they wrote, yesterday I eat a pizza. You would look at this and you'd go, okay, no, yesterday I eat, and then you might write after it VT, verb tense. You let them know that the verb tense they use in there is wrong. They need to correct. Oh, yes, teacher, of course, yesterday I eat a pizza. Wrong. Sorry. Yesterday I ate a pizza. Yes, good. Well done. But what you are doing is you're not correcting them. You're not saying, oh, no. It shouldn't be yesterday I eat a pizza. Of course, it should be yesterday I ate a pizza. No, what you're getting them to do is to think about it. You're getting them to change it, the errors themselves. You're making them fix it. Okay. Gonna give another example. So that's verb tense. Today I'm going from the shop. Are you talking about the future? Yes, because you've got I am going. Okay, so it's probably there a preposition problem. Chow there. I'm sorry, you got a preposition problem there. Yesterday I'm going from the shop. Teacher, yesterday I'm going at the shop. No, keep going. Can you think of of course I go to the shop. Yes, well done, Chow, blah, blah, blah. Then you might have something like this. The chemical equation for water is H2O. You might go, okay, no, actually you've got an SP there. SP is a spelling mistake. Oh, yes, let me think. Yes, maybe no Z, teacher. Yes, well done. So in the next draft, make sure you correct this, you would say to them. And there's different ones. There's plurals. There's wrong word, WW. There's something like word tense, WT. Depends on kind. You might do active voice, passive voice, something like this. Depends on the students and what they've got. Okay. And sort of the level that they're at as well. Okay, and the grade that they are looking for. So that you've done the feedback, you've done the error correction. They then create the second draft. They fix the mistakes. They go through at home and they change all the VTs correctly. They change all the WOs. They change all the spelling, that kind of thing. They also look at any global feedback you might have done. By global, I mean feedback where you're looking at the whole of the essay, not just word for word with the error correction. They might look at things like, you might say to them, your paragraph organization is not logical. So do they have a very clear introduction, or does the introduction somehow not look clear? Something like that. You might say to them this, your paragraph organization is not logical. You might say to them something like, you haven't answered the question. The whole of your essay does not answer the question. What you need to do then is give them also good actionable advice. If you just say to them, you haven't answered the question, doesn't really help them. You need to use in the global phrases like you need to. You should look at the lesson we did this. You should look at page 42. You should look at this website. You need to add more cohesive devices within your paragraphs. You need to change the formality of paragraph 2. Something like that. Give them actual concrete advice on what they need to do. Don't just tell them what's wrong. Okay. And then that would be the second draft. They would then take all this advice, they'd go do a second draft, and then hopefully that would be the last draft. Maybe even some teachers go on and do a third draft if there's still lots of problems. Okay. My final thoughts about teaching writing before I get to some of your questions. My first one I'd say to you is don't overmark. Don't give too many mistakes, okay? And don't do too much information, okay? Don't spend too long over marking, if that makes sense. Especially if you're marking really long essays. If you've got a pile, and I've just finished a university contract where I've had sort of 700 word essays to mark, and I've had classes of 15, 20 people. You know, that's a lot of words I need to go through. Is it possible for me to go through line by line and do every line? Probably not in the time I'm given. Don't overmark, okay? And give positives. This sort of goes with don't overmark. So because if a student gets an essay and all they see is red pen all over it or red typing all through it, and it's like, oh my word, it's terrible. You know, make sure you also give positives. So tell them if they've got some nice vocabulary in there, tell them. If they've got some nice organization within a paragraph, tell them. Give what we call a bad news sandwich. Give good news, then in the middle, the fill in, the important bit, bad news. Then make sure you give a bit of good news afterwards. Bad news sandwich. Okay, really important. Keep that in mind for speaking as well as writing. Okay. Don't correct and overgrade things that they might not have been taught before. So if you're going through a pre-intermediate level essay, or if it's essays where they only need to get like an A2 level certificate, there's no point marking on the essay, oh, your passive voice is terrible there. You need to improve your passive voice. Or have you thought about using the third conditional there? Don't, write that on there because they haven't been taught it before. Think of the level. Think of the purpose, think of the genre, think of the target grade. Keep that in your mind, okay? Be prepared to explain with writing. If you've written that there is an error here, and it's a let's say a word form error, and they come up to you and go, teacher, I've tried to look at this word form and I just can't fix it. I just don't know how to improve it. Can you explain it? You've got to be prepared to explain every single one of the errors that you've found. Okay. Be realistic in the expectations you have and the students have about improving their writing. It's not a quick purpose. You can get fossilized errors in speaking and writing. What is that? It's errors that the students have and have had for many years, and they've probably had 3 or 4 teachers try to drum out those errors, but they're like sort of fossilized in their brain. You've really got to make sure that it's going to take time to do that. Okay. So thank you very much. That's my final thoughts about writing. I've taught a lot of writing throughout my career, especially in my university teaching career, and I quite enjoy it because you can get students to write quite quickly, to improve their writing quite quickly. Does depend on them and how lazy or not lazy they are. Okay, let me just go back up and answer some of the questions. Thank you, everybody. If you do have any questions, please do put them in the chat. Okay, where's the first? Some people in Dubai. Hello. Someone in Belfast, just down the road. It has stopped raining. Someone in West Ireland. Some people in Poland, Scotland. Barbara, that's an interesting question. Thoughts about upcoming law changes about teaching online RE China? Alan, do you know anything about this? I don't know anything about this. If anybody can put anything in the chat about it, then that would be good. And I'm going to try and see if anyone can help me with that one, because I've not heard about these law changes. I have been quite busy the last sort of few weeks, so I haven't really been looking as much as I should have done. Okay, let me have a look about that one. Okay, Laura, hello. Laura Louise, hello. You're about to start teaching debate and writing in a Korean middle school. Any advice for more advanced writing classes? You've mainly done basic grammar. Well, if they're advanced, you shouldn't need to do basic grammar. What I would say, if they are advanced, Laura, and I don't know what advanced means. To me, advanced means really, really good. If they are really, really good, you can get them writing academic essays. If you can get them writing different formal situations, you could get them writing plays. You could get them writing, I don't know, like analysing journal articles and like sort of academic English. So it does depend what advanced means. One person advanced is different from another person advanced. But definitely the sort of, if you've only done basic grammar and vocab, bring in paragraphs, paragraph organisation, bring in global organisation within the essay, bring in things like the academic word list, and see if they can get that into their essay. Okay, that's the sort of thing that I would start to bring in, Laura. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't start to just stick with the basic grammar. If they are good, get them going. Okay, all right, get them going. All right. Okay, Barbara, I've just found out what you're looking for about the upcoming law changes. Okay, so there are some rules that have come in from the Chinese government to say that only specific schools, I think, are allowed to hire foreign teachers. I think that's right. Okay. What I would say is that probably every now and again, it's a good thing is the first thing I would say. Okay. Because why is it a good thing? Because it sounds like the Chinese government is checking the standards of the teachers maybe and the schools that are working in the field. Why is that important? Because I could tomorrow go build a website and I could do a little course and I could get you all studying and paying me some money, and I could then make a little certificate on Microsoft Word and say, there you go, there's your certificate, well done. You could then take that certificate and take it to a school maybe. And I'm quite well qualified. I've got master's level qualifications, but nobody else will have checked that I'm good. Nobody else would check if the people that I'm training turn out to be good teachers. So there has to be a level of standards, and it sounds like at the moment the government in China is just checking on the standards of the schools, the standards of the teachers, that kind of thing. And maybe one of the ways to do that is just to put a temporary sort of slow down or halt in the training of teachers, that kind of thing. So to me, it sounds like a good thing. What you need to do is, there's always going to be a call for teachers in China, always, face-to-face, online, always. It's a big country. There are a lot of teachers, but there's generally never enough teachers. So what you need to do if you're thinking about going into this is making sure you have a qualification from a good accredited company, one that a school would pass the test of the Chinese government's qualities by saying, look, but we have teachers that are accredited from a good language provider. That is important generally wherever you go and teach in the world, is to make sure that the qualification you are getting is accredited, and making sure that it's a good quality qualification that you're studying. Ones like ours are at the TEFL, or we don't shy away from showing our accreditation and by talking about accreditation, because it is an important thing. It means the tutors are people like me with master's level qualifications. It means that people come and check me independent from our organisation to make sure that I'm doing a good job in the courses I run in Ireland, for example. Okay, hope that answers your question, Barbara. It sounds like a temporary thing, okay, and it will get better. Hello, Sophie in Georgia, Frederic in France, Romina, hello. Romina Di Dominicis. You see, most of the time the jobs require a bachelor's degree. You're interested in teaching kids in Asia or South America. You're interested in actually going there, Romina? Yes, and look, I'm not going to shy away from the fact that most countries nowadays do prefer people to have degrees. Does that mean you can't work abroad in Asia without a degree? No, not at all. You could get on somewhere like the Japanese working holiday visa. Google that, Romina. See if you can get that. Will allow people without a degree to get a visa to work in Japan. So you could go out there. Countries like Cambodia also currently don't want people with degrees. Don't need people with degrees. They want people with degrees, but they don't need to have people with degrees. Somewhere like that. In terms of South America, it's a little bit more difficult. There is a bit of a call for degrees in South America. The best way, Romina, and I don't necessarily recommend this unless you've got quite a few quid behind you, is to go fly out there, fly out there and try and find work when you're there. I realise that's not possible for everyone. You won't see many jobs advertised for people without degrees before you get there. Okay, Romina. We did a webinar a few weeks ago about teaching in South America. It might be worth watching. Find it on this Facebook page. Find us on the YouTube page. All of these videos are there for you to go back and look at. Okay. Yep, Sophie, that's true about opinions. Being able to show your opinion properly is a big part of writing. It's a massive part of academic English, if that's the sort of thing that you get into. Okay. Laura, hello. Oh, great. More follow-up about the Korean thing. You've also been told the curriculum will include personal essays and how to structure literature reviews. Any advice on prepping myself? Yep. So genre analysis, Laura. Genre. Look at the types of, so for example, is it going to be a 8,000 word essay they've got to create, or is it going to be a 1,000 word essay? Because the way they work is different. Go find yourself, look on Google Scholar for some good 8,000 word essays. Look at how they're organized. Look at things like the abstract. Look at things like the conclusion. Look at the headings. Look at the subheadings, all that kind of thing. Get your students to recreate that. Make lessons up around it. Literature reviews. There's hundreds and thousands of literature reviews online. Google literature review genre analysis. Something like that. You will find lessons on there to help you. Okay. Teach yourself. Make sure you understand the genre, so you understand what a literature review looks like. You understand what a good personal essay looks like. You get them to recreate it. Okay. Good. I hope that worked out for you. Ellen, some lovely chat there as well. Thank you very much. Any tips you have about teaching writing, please do get it in there. Alex, hello. Alex, why do you have Antarctica in your name? Alex Weston. You're on here a lot. Let me know why you've got Antarctica in your name. Is that you can't live there, surely? No, I don't think so. I think you're in the UK. Hello, happy Friday. Do I know of any free advertisement websites that are quite popular? Okay, yeah. So I mean, Facebook Classifieds, Facebook Marketplace, I think. What if I was you, Alex? I would look for example, there's a certain nationality that's quite numerous in Belfast, and European nationality, and they have their own group in Facebook, and it's something like their nationality in Belfast. I don't want to tell you because that's like where I get a lot of students from. I go in there and I advertise myself in there. It doesn't cost me anything. I just say, hi, this is me, I'm here, this is what I can do, this is how much I cost, bye, thank you. People contact me, people don't. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It takes me a few minutes. It's the sort of thing I do. So I would look for groups for people living in different cities. So you're looking for people that have moved to a city but trying to speak English. The other thing you might want to look at is something like Indeed. Does it cost to advertise on Indeed? INDEED? It probably does, doesn't it? Yeah. I think, Alex, I hope you're still also doing your own marketing as well. Alex. So you've built your website, that kind of thing. I hope that works out for you. Okay. Naomi, hello. How would I juggle different writing purposes amongst the whole? Well, you shouldn't have that many different writing purposes in a class. If you are, something's gone wrong, Naomi. So what you might want to do is, why has it gone wrong? It's gone wrong because you should have like an academic English class where you just teaching essays, or you should have a business English class where you're teaching 1 week emails, second week marketing, something like that, whatever it might be. You should have, if it's general English, you should set the task. So you should have a range of different purposes. What I would suggest is try and group them a little bit. And if you've got like 10 different purposes of what they want to write, that's difficult. I would group them a little bit, and I would say, right, this week we're going to do this purpose, next week we're going to do this purpose, depending on how many classes you got. Okay, hope that works, Naomi. Does that answer your question? I think it does. Naomi, hello. Are there any mark schemes for certain writing classes? Yes. Sorry, certain writing tasks. Yes. So, universities will have their own mark schemes. So the university I'm working at, they have a mark scheme. So they tell me this is what a high level one will be, and you look at it and it will say things like hardly any mistakes, good use of academic word list, all paragraphs are logical. You look at it and then you look at the row below, like an average essay would be some paragraphs are not logical, things like that. So yes, universities will have their own writing task mark schemes. Next, you would have the exam boards have their own mark schemes which are available online. So, for example, if you're going to do the Cambridge, if you're going to mark Cambridge, or you're going to teach Cambridge writing tasks, go on to the Cambridge ESOL website and look for advanced grading criteria. That's the word I was looking for, grading criteria. GRADING criteria. Find that. That'll tell you what's good. What's usually like a chart, a table, and that will tell you what is good, what is bad. Okay. So that's the sort of thing that you would look for. Yes, mark schemes. Yes, for sure, there are. Okay. Laura, this is a very common problem. You've been told advanced intermediate, but you've only been. Are you supposed to be teaching the advanced intermediate, which contradicts? Anyone that says advanced intermediate has gone a bit crazy. Could it be upper intermediate? Because advanced is different from intermediate. Anyway, I've worked in so many places, dozens of places, where the school manager has gone, Carl, come teach our advanced class. They are fantastic. You will enjoy teaching them. You get there, and actually the advanced level is elementary level. It's a very, very, very common thing. Okay. Good luck with it, Laura. Ellen, cats, rats and bats to help students write. You got to tell me more about that, because I've got no idea what you're talking about, Ellen. Put some chat in. Let us know exactly what that is. Explain it in the chat. Okay. Anna, hello. How can you start a teaching? How can I start a teaching career online? What steps would you recommend following? You're not an English speaker. You haven't passed an exam to develop my English level, but I like it. Okay. Right. Interesting. Right. So a career online is by career. I don't know what by career I mean, like a long-term lifetime job. Is that the sort of thing you're looking for, Anna, or are you just sort of thinking about getting your first job? First thing you need to do is get qualified, Anna. I would never ever take on a teacher that doesn't have a good accredited level qualification. So go onto our website, TEFL.org, Anna. Let me find the website for you. I'm being very lazy. Let's go to the website. You need to go onto our website, TEFL.org, okay? And you need to look at our TEFL courses. You click there and you look at the ones that thinks are suitable for you. So we've got face-to-face ones, we've got all online ones, we've got premier level ones, we've got a big range to suit budgets and to suit people. Look at them. Also check out at the bottom of our page, check out our accreditation bodies, the people that have checked. Make sure you know that they are good, that they are legitimate. And then what I would also do before you pay the money and start the courses, I'd go onto the TEFL jobs page and see the sort of jobs available. Okay, that's not just the only jobs that are available with our courses. There's lots more. Okay, there's websites such as eslcafe.com that take the companies there will look for accredited qualifications. That sort of thing that I would recommend you do. All right, so that's the first thing. If you're not an English native speaker, you're going to see jobs advertised that wrongly only want native speakers. Wrongly, it's not a good idea. No research has been able to prove, apart from a discredited reports in the 1970s, that native speakers can't teach English. However, Anna, you might be asked to prove your level of English. And if that's the case, you might need to take something like an IELTS test. Because while you don't need to be a native level teacher, you generally have to have a good-ish level of English. And I'm talking sort of upper intermediate upwards in order to teach. Okay? I hope that works out for you, Anna. Good luck. Let us know how you go with that, okay? Laura, hello. Do I have any advice on how to explain correction codes to your students if the school does not have one and you as a teacher have to invent one? Yeah, so what I would do is I would have first thing, Laura, is Google is your friend. There's loads of websites where they talk about the correction code. How do I teach the correction code? First of all, I match the abbreviations to the words. So on the left hand side I might have verb tense written in full. Underneath I might have something like word order, and then on the other side of the page I might have WOVT, and they have to link that. So they first of all know what the abbreviations stand for. I then give them examples of, like for example that one I said about the pizza. So I'd say, okay, yesterday I eat a pizza. Speak to your partner, what is wrong with this? Ooh. Eat is wrong, teacher. Eat is wrong, teacher. Yes, good. So is that a plural mistake? Is that a verb tense mistake? Get them thinking about it. Do a little activity, half an hour, a couple of worksheets you can make around that. But Google is your friend, Laura. There's loads of stuff on Google for that kind of thing. All right. Good. I hope that works out for you. I like correction codes. They're definitely a good way of improving accuracy in writing. Okay. Maria, hello. You have a student who is pretty good at writing but has a big fear to make a conversation. Have you ever faced the similar problem? What kind of solution maybe? Interest? Yeah, so this is not a writing problem, this is a speaking problem. Pair work is the big one, Maria. The most pair work you can do, get your student to work with someone who's friendly, who's nice, who won't care about the mistakes. You've also got to let them know that mistakes are okay. So for example, if they're going to do an exam, you could show them that to get an intermediate level of English, you can make mistakes. You don't have to be grammatically perfect in order to get an intermediate level certificate that could be used to start a PhD, that could be used to start a master's in English, for example. So make sure they understand that it's not key to have perfect, whatever that is, English. Okay. Same with pronunciation, same with vocabulary. It doesn't have to be grammar. Okay, so yes, I face that problem. I try and lower their worry levels. It sounds like really there you're trying to be a psychologist more, because they got the good English because of the writing. You got to be a psychologist more than the teacher there. Okay. Sharonti, hello. Are there any websites and books you recommend to improve my students' writing skill? Well, it does depend on the purpose, Sharanti. So, are they doing exams? Then they need a good IELTS, Trinity, Cambridge textbook. Are they doing business English? Then they need a good business English. So I can't give you a general writing book because that doesn't really exist so much. There are a couple of examples out there, but they're not great. You need to get one that matches the purpose of them doing it. Okay. I hope that works out. If anybody else has got any examples of good writing books, websites, please put them in the chat. Okay. We've also got some stuff on our website, TEFL.org, about writing. If you look in that one. Okay. Good. Thank you, Ellen. Rats, cats, bats sounds great. I will check out after I've done this one. Good. About the native speakers, non-native speakers. Taboka. Are there different correction codes for British and American English? Taboka. What? Why would you want American English? Are you crazy? American English? No. There's not different correction codes for British and American English because the grammar is pretty much the same in all of them except for when the Americans don't do it right. I'm joking, Americans, if you're watching. Of course, your English is just as valid as New Zealand English and Australian English and Indian English and Nigerian English and Scottish English and British English and all sorts of English. There's not different correction codes. It works well. Okay. Good. Okay, I think that might be the end of the questions, which is great because we're coming to the end of the webinar. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We have had lots of these webinars. So if you want to go back and look at some other ones, we might have already covered that. I might have already covered that. Please go back and look for our Facebook page. Please go back and look for our YouTube page. If you have any questions at all about becoming a teacher of English as a foreign language, Americans do say ESL. We tend to, in the UK, use EFL. Okay, so go on our website. Got loads and loads of information at the top there. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my second screen. We've also got some at the bottom. We've got links to our Facebook page, our Twitter, all that kind of thing. Instagram, where there's lots of stuff on that. You can also go on our Facebook page and send us an email. Okay, so send us a message through the Facebook page. You can also go on YouTube and put in the comments. We're always willing to help out at all. We love hearing from people, and we love knowing what people are up to. So please, if you liked this webinar, please put in the chat that you liked it. If you didn't like it and you're expecting other things, please put it in the chat. I'm a big guy. I can deal with the feedback. Thanks, guys. Really recommend you go onto our website if you want more information. TEFL.org. Look on the blog page there. Type in something that you want to do. So, for example, somebody says South America. If you search on the blog posts some information about South America, we've got loads and loads of stuff on our website. Okay, even if you've already got your qualification, go on there and have a look. Thanks, guys. Lovely to meet you this Friday afternoon. Have a good weekend. See you soon. Bye.